If your sales doubled today, would the amount of hours that you would spend on your business also double? Now, the goal of any business is to not increase the amount of work that you do while sales increase, while orders increase. That's really the way you build a business, because at the end of the day, your resources, meaning your time and energy, are scarce. There's scarcity to them. So you can't constantly match to the amount of orders that you have to match your time and effort. So now with my business, my goal is actually to do almost the opposite. I want to decrease the amount of hours I work as my sales increase, giving me the luxury to cash flow my work. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my business. And in fact, last week, my daughter had a pretty intense brain surgery, and I had to take time off for half of a week. And my business continued to operate. There were some things that went well, and some things that didn't went well, and I'm going to be working on making sure that those things are taken care of even when I'm gone. But I would imagine that life happens for most of you guys, in fact, all of you guys. And so being able to take it, whether it's for vacations or personal time, it's absolutely crucial for your business to have the ability to be somewhat independent from the amount of hours that you're able to invest into the business. And so building a business like that is absolutely critical for everybody, because we all have lives. So this is my first vlog that I'm going to be doing, and I'll be showing you guys my date because I got a ton of orders today. And hopefully you guys get to see some opportunities of how I'm trying to build my business, where it is becoming more and more autonomous, where I can create simple systems for other employees that don't really need that much education or experience in order to fulfill orders or be useful to the company that I'm trying to build. So welcome to my first vlog. Let's get started. I have a ton of orders. It's prep day. All my employees are not working today, so I'm going to be doing a lot of prep work. So hopefully you guys get to see a business that has potential, and welcome on my journey, I guess. And it's a business that could crash. It's a business that could do well. But if you guys want to follow me on this journey, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification. For those that don't know, my name is Vlad. I am a top seller on Etsy, and I also consult and manufacture for top sellers as a print-on-demand service. So I know a thing or two about selling on Etsy. So if you want to follow somebody that gives you advice on how to build an Etsy business, I'm a guy that gives a bunch of free advice on this channel. So make sure to subscribe. Without any further ado, I got a ton of orders to do. Let's go. So essentially, for those that don't know, my name is Vlad. I manufacture dog collars. I have a sublimation printer where I'm going to be printing fabric or printing on paper and then sublimating, pressing it onto fabric with my roll-to-roll heat press. This is where we roll the last kind of after it's pressed. And the only thing about this machine is it gets hot. Like in this shop, it's like a heat bucket, especially during the summer. So it gets pretty darn warm and I have to open up my garage door. So one of the things I've been having a struggle with is inventory. I think that's always been a problem, and I've talked to a lot of big businesses, and no matter where you are at business, it's always a big problem. Your last month's sales sometimes don't cover your this month's expenses, because if you're growing, you're always going to have that problem no matter which area you are in your business. And so I think having creative ways on how you buy inventory, and maybe not having all the inventory in the shop and having cash flowing your inventory, I found is the best way to make sure that you're protected, is having quick supplies, businesses you could trust, because there are businesses, you buy from and they take forever to fulfill your order, or they are always late on their delivery. And I find that if I find businesses that do really well, delivered on time, then I don't have to keep all the inventory here. I could just cash flow it. All right, while all this is happening, you got printing in the back, you got pressing the fabric. I actually running out of fabric, and so I made an order for more fabric. Let me show you how I go through samples, and because we're gonna be upgrading our fabric. So the fabric that I used is very rough. It's like what camping chairs are made of. And I bought really heavy duty fabric because, dog collars, I'm thinking they're going to be scratching it, they're going to be wearing it in and out of the water. And so I got a very hard fabric. And I also used that same material to make banners, which worked for a while. And until I started doing POD for other Etsy sellers, one of the number one, I would say, a complaint is that the fabric is too rough, which is, technically it's a good problem that say, hey, this is too heavy duty, which is like what you want for a collar. But Turns out that a lot of Etsy moms that are going on, a lot of dog moms go on Etsy, they kind of have lap dogs that are not too aggressive, and dogs are taken care of even more fancier than, you know, humans. I think my kids get into more messiness than my neighbor's dog, if I'm being completely honest. So anyways, I buy my fabric from Alibaba, and I asked them to send me a sample, and you could always do this, by the way. A lot of the fabric you're not going to buy in the United States if it's not manufactured, because at the end of the day, the best fabric that you're going to get is the fabric that can be manufactured from scratch, because you can get the mixture that's exactly what you want. And so they give me, they send me 2 samples of their just standard library for polyester, and I need polyester, and I wanted a softer polyester. So they kind of give me a sample of it, which a lot of them are exactly what I want. However, they send me just a couple of samples of something else that they've been working on, which is this. This is kind of their new fabric, designed fabric. And what I liked about this one, all of these are woven. Most of these are woven, meaning if I damage the edge of it, over time it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger. What they recognize, and this is why they designed this fabric, is that it's not woven the same way, which means if it's scratched, it's going to stay scratched and it's not going to expand or get larger as the dog keeps wearing it. And then the other thing, what I liked about this is you take a fork. This is a dirty fork, but you take a fork, and I just scratched it many times. I was just sitting here scratching it with a fork, and what I realized is it doesn't scratch. It's actually soft because it's not woven. It has a very smooth surface. It's good for printing, and it is scratch resistant. Even if it does break, it doesn't get bigger. And I was trying to fray it on the sides to see how much of it I can fray in. It doesn't budge, which is perfect for dog collars. So it's both soft and it's scratch resistant to a degree, and it feels perfect. It feels really smooth and soft, which is perfect for print. Now, I don't know if I can print directly on this. I used to actually try to attempt with my printer, my sublimation printer, to print directly onto fabric, which you can do. It depends what kind of fabric you have. Most of the fabric are woven, and the kind of the ink seeps through. I'm really excited to try printing directly on this because it's such a flat surface, and it actually has a very flat texture, which actually might hold the ink. So I don't know. I might still need to print on paper and then transfer. I'm super excited. So I ordered, I just said, hey, just send me 1,000 yards of this. And I do like these, but like I said, they're all woven. They're all they start to fray on the sides the more you tug on it. And this one is literally designed for pet bandanas and dog collars. All right, so time to cut some fabric. And the way I cut the fabric is I wind it up on a roll, and then I chop it up. This has probably been the fastest way to get this thing cut. I'm about to cut the fabric, but before I do that, I wanted to say this video is sponsored to you by my masterclass. If you want to learn how to grow on Etsy and Amazon, I found successes on both of those platforms. I share with you guys everything. I hold nothing back. Check out the link in the description below. All right, let's get back to the video. And so voila. Now, this week has been very exciting because, by the way, don't mind the mess back there. But this week has been marked a very important day in my business because this was the last stage, this cutting stage, and printing, pressing, and cutting has been the last kind of stage that I always kind of hogged to myself, and I was always afraid to outsource it to anybody. And this last week, someone else actually did it, the whole process from printing the fabrics, pressing it, and cutting it. And that's exciting. That means this business is ready to really scale up. If I increase my sales, then there's a possibility where I can have this whole business run on its own entirely. Now, obviously, I'm still far away from that, but with
every step of this whole production process has now been able to be performed by somebody else. All I need now to do is increase volume to a point where I can cash flow every employee, which is kind of cool. I've been building this process for such a long time. Here, let me show you. This little sewing machine, it's been my first sewing machine that I started this whole business with. And now I'm able to see kind of the little bit of the light where I can have this whole business run on its own. That's the light, okay? It's just the ability for me to step away and the orders are being produced. Because I don't want a business where if I need to go on vacation, I close down for 2 weeks. I want a business where the business will keep running even if I'm dead. And I just kind of seeing that possibility got me excited. So I don't know, I think that's really cool. I think that's the dream for a lot of you guys. It was kind of nice that I actually recorded this because I saw that it took me about 22 minutes to make this whole roll on the sewing machine. The nice thing about simplifying the process that I found is that when you do hire somebody, you're saying, hey, you should be able to do one roll in 20 minutes. That's the standard. So you're able to standardize. But when something is really complicated, there's so many factors that could play kind of interfere with that time. But when you simplify a process, you actually can have a standard, and you can, when you hire, you're saying, hey, I would expect this, this speed to be done, because it's simple. There's only just a few factors that can slow it down. So okay, so we just basically got this ready for our employee tomorrow. They're going to come in the morning. They're going to get started on this. They know exactly what to do. They use that machine. Very simple. Pedal 1, pedal 2, done. And then that tomorrow, basically, I'll be doing pretty much the same thing with the same amount of orders that we have today. So from the time that the packing slip is printed, it takes us about 2 days for the product to be pretty much taken to the postal office. From printing the fabric to assembling the cold collar, it takes us about 2 days. Hopefully you liked the first vlog. If you did, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe for more vlogs like this. All right, guys, you guys take care.